What's good, guys? Welcome to another video, and as you can see from the title of this video today, we're going to be talking about how semen retention is going to help you attract more abundance and make you manifest things easier. So as you can see from the whiteboard, guys, I made a whole bunch of stuff here. On the left, what we see is different types of emotions. I'm going to go over this and this will make sense in a bit. And here are some of the things that will happen to you and some things to understand when you hop on semen retention. And if you utilize these things properly, you will in fact see that manifesting things and attracting abundance starts to become effortless to you. So what we see here, guys, is the emotional skill of David R. Hawkins. I just made it a little bit summarized, so I made it a bit shorter. But one thing to understand here is the higher we aim on this skill, the easier it becomes to attract abundance in our life, the easier it becomes to manifest things in our life. So what's going to happen, guys, is that when we hop on semen retention, naturally it becomes a whole lot easier to climb up this ladder, right? From shame we climb up to desire, to courage, to acceptance, right? We climb up. The higher we can climb up here, the easier and more effortless life starts to become. The more access we start to gain to new energy. This is the infinite amount of energy that is always moving right through us. But when we're in these lower states of, let's say, shame, we're blocking all this energy. At this point of shame and fear, you're not able to get high-level ideas. You don't feel inspired, right? You start to feel inspired at courage. If someone has a bad vibe, you'll feel it. It feels heavy. If you walk into a room and someone is in a deep state of grief, a deep state of shame, which is the lowest emotion a human can have. So that is already a practical example of how you can actually feel someone's emotions. This is someone's energy body. And this is not woo-woo stuff, right? There are actually some pictures from the energy body that can in fact be measured with instruments, right? So something to understand, guys, is that once you hop on semen retention, things become easier, things become more effortless, right? So when we're all the way at shame, when you're constantly releasing your sexual energy, when you're doing things you know you shouldn't be doing, let's say you're still watching the dirty websites, you don't want to do this, but you continue to do this. What are you constantly doing? You're feeling shameful, you're feeling guilty. Right? Next to that, it creates more social anxiety, creates more fear in your day-to-day basis, which once again is also one. Fear, right? 100, right? It's a little bit better than shame already. And next to that, what is it going to create as well? It's going to create more lust, more desire, right? And as you can see, desire is 125. It's just a little bit higher than fear. But something to understand about this emotional skill, guys, is that the energy becomes positive at the emotion of courage at 200. When we reach the emotion of courage by letting go of these lower emotions through semen retention, through letting go, through moving through it, this is where we become energized. This is where things start to become more effortless, and this is also at the point of courage where we become magnetic, where abundance naturally just manifests in our life. Not as much as the state of acceptance and love, but you will notice that things just flow effortlessly to you so much easier. And we're gonna go into that a little bit deeper, how exactly semen retention and climbing up this ladder is actually gonna help you manifest things so much easier, right? So I'm just gonna give you some short examples of the worldview, of the perception of someone in these emotions. So someone that is in the emotion of shame will see the world as, oh no, like I'm not worthy of living. It's the lowest emotion ever. It's the closest emotion to death. I'm not even worthy of living. I'm useless, right? I don't want to show myself to the world, right? I cannot even be here. It's very, very, very low and very heavy, right? As we start to climb up a little bit to the emotion of fear, someone in fear will see the world as a dangerous place. They go out and they just see fear everywhere. Right? Their whole perception of reality is that of fear. Things can endanger me. Oh, there's danger there. And the news, right, will trigger them and it will cause a lot of fear. The majority of people are, in fact, still, right, when we look at the collective, the majority of people on earth, they're in the emotions of fear and desire. Right? That is the bulk of everything. That is why the negative news, right, is still creating so much impact, because people actually hook onto the fear and they hook onto the desire. Right? So the next one, as I said, is desire, and that's still a very negative emotion. Someone in the emotion of desire is constantly lacking within himself. So he's constantly seeking something outside of himself to fulfill himself with. Right? So this could be endless lust for the next thing, endless lust for chasing things outside of yourself, hoping it's going to fulfill you. And as we all know, the more we try to do this, the more lag we start to create within ourselves. If we try to fill this void from attaining things outside of us, we're going to create more lack within itself. So we're just creating more desire. By acting on the desire and fulfilling the desire, you're going to create even more desire until you're a slave to your own desires, right? You're no longer in control, but your desires are in control of you now. Now, this is what we want to let go of. And if we're able to let go of this, and semen retention will drastically help you with this, we move up to courage. And courage, once again, is the first positive emotion. And this is the place where you look at the world and you see the world is full of opportunities, full of growth. You become inspired to take action. And you see so many new things you could be doing for your own growth. This is the state of courage. And this is where we move. And this is where we become magnetic, because now our energy is positive, right? People want to be around us. It's amazing to be around courageous people. It feels good. They inspire you. As you let go of that more and more, you get up all the way to acceptance. And these higher states, guys, the higher we go, the fewer and fewer people are actually in this state permanently. We all move up and down in these states, but we all have a default state. We all have one state we naturally get back to all the time, and you can actually raise that throughout your lifetime, right? So the next one is acceptance. When you're in acceptance, life is flowing. Everything is perfect. There's no need for force. There's no need to get anything anymore. Things just come at you naturally. And at the place of acceptance, guys, this is where manifesting and abundance and attracting all this becomes truly effortless. Your wants start to decrease. You no longer want as much anymore. Yet paradoxically, that just creates this massive attractive magnet. You feel as if you have so much to give and so little to gain. Yet as we know, the more you give, the more you shall receive. So that is the whole paradox. When you're in these lower states, you naturally want to take. You want to take and take, right? In the state of desire. So in acceptance, guys, you are in a state of flow. You're in a state of complete flow. Things are effortless and it's lovely. It is an absolutely blissful state to be in. Things are just perfect, right? You see reality is perfect. Opportunities come at you like that. Things are effortless. You want to do something, things just align in such a way that they tend to happen as well. There's no more willpower needed here, right? Now, as we move up even more, we get to love. And this is 500, 5 times as powerful as fear. Now, I'm not talking about falling in love, because the majority of people that fall in love actually fall in love from a state of desire and fear. It's an attached love. If you're like this and you act like this to me, yes, I will love you. But as soon as some things go wrong, it's, oh no, there's fear, right? You should act like this and this and this for me to be happy. That is how a lot of relationships go these days. When you're in a state of love, the way you see the world, when you're in a state of love, is that you cannot see anything outside of love. You see the trees as love. You're unable to judge anything or anyone. You can only see the perfection of reality around you. You see the thief, right? The only thing you can see, this brother is in pain. He needs healing. I'm giving him love. I give him healing, right? The majority of people would think you're absolutely insane. But when you're in love, you're actually able to perceive reality more correctly. Now, as we go up to 700 to 1000 enlightenment, right? This is like where the spiritual sages, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Krishna, Ramana Maharshi, right? Very few people, very few beings have reached a state like this. This is where you see the oneness with reality. You realize we're all one. You're not able to see any separation anymore. And the only thing you can perceive is the one consciousness, the one awareness moving through everything. There's no sense of doership anymore. There's no sense of an individual acting in the world. It's all effortless. There are no desires anymore. And whatever you need will just arise in your reality in absolute no time. So now that we have an understanding of these states and what they do, let's actually get into what semen retention will do for you when it comes down to manifesting more abundance within your life. So guys, what's going to happen when you hop on semen retention? The first thing that's going to happen is that your vibration is going to increase. So a very practical example here, guys, is that when you're constantly in the state of desire, right? When you hop on semen retention, what this will naturally do is it will gain control over your desires. Your lust and your desire for things, they start to move down. So what I see with men happening again and again is that when they are struggling with lust, they are struggling with constantly wanting things. Yet, once they hop on semen retention, naturally this lust starts to die out. And over time, you will see that these men start to move up to courage. You start to let go of the change of your own desire. When you hop on semen retention, this naturally starts to happen. So once again, guys, I want to make it very practical. Not just saying your vibration is going to increase, like what, like that is no use to you, right? I'm actually want to make this practical and just not too woo-woo, right? And as we just talked about, the higher your vibration, the easier it becomes to attract abundance. And not just easier, the more effortless it becomes, because at some point it's just your state. There's no other way than to attract abundance anymore. You don't need to try and become abundant. In the beginning you do, in fear and desire, but at some point when you're really in acceptance, and that is like, it's easier said than done, guys. Very few people even reach acceptance, maybe short periods of time. But to be in this state for a permanent state, like that is going to take some time. I'm going to be totally honest with you. But over time you will get there. Over time you will raise your default state. And that's why things become effortless. That's why manifesting becomes effortless. That is where you just live from a state of abundance. You no longer need to try. So here, guys, is a truly crucial thing to understand. And this is the mirror effect. So what the mirror effect simply means is that the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. Maybe you feel like the world isn't giving you enough. No, you're just not giving yourself enough, because when you change your state, and once again, a very practical example is when you feel positive, when you're feeling good about yourself, when you're giving, right? When you're giving value, when you're giving things to people, it's a proof of having. Naturally, people want to be around positive people. They are magnetic. They are rare. They are in the minority. So when you are able to move up through semen retention, because many men don't do this, many men stay in these lower states. When you are able to move up, you become an exception. You become a magnet to this. People are like, what is up with this guy? Where does he get all this energy and drive from and all this clarity? How is this? How is this working? How is this happening? It's through moving up, as I'm saying. So naturally, your inner state is just reflecting the outer world. So once you start to feel this inner fulfillment within yourself, naturally the outer world will match this. Naturally, people will treat you different. When you start to feel respect for yourself, naturally people start to respect you. You start to tap into the abundance that is already within yourself. You can feel abundant now. It is already there. And then the abundance you feel within yourself, the outer world just start to shapeshift accordingly. And that is reality creation. That is part of using your thoughts and your beliefs and your assumptions, the things you feel on a day-to-day basis. You will in fact see that reality just start to change in front of you without using your willpower to shape reality the way you want it. Just change your inner state. Just go from shame to courage. And yes, maybe the way I'm saying this, it's not as easy as I make it sound. You know, it requires work. It requires you having the intention to move up there, your desire, right? Because part of moving from shame to courage is to just be fed up with feeling shameful. The reason you're still in shame, as harsh as that sounds, is because you're still fine with being in shame. It doesn't hurt enough yet. It doesn't quite hurt enough yet for you to just see how stupid this is, to just get rid of your own victimhood, to get rid of seeing yourself as the victim. Just choose to step into your own power. It's a choice and it's a desire you need to make for yourself. It's part of the game. But this is the mirror effect, guys. So another reason semen retention is going to attract more abundance into your life is because you start to increase your own value. When you open semen retention, what you will notice is that your value, the way you feel about yourself, starts to increase. Start to see yourself as more valuable. Because you start to see yourself as more valuable, you take more action that aligns with feeling as valuable as that. And next to that, once again, people are going to treat you different. Your sexual energy is your value as a man. Once you start to understand that, and once you start to retain it, you will naturally feel more value within yourself, and you will naturally be able to express the gifts that have already been given to you. They become more natural to you. But when you're constantly throwing it away, there are many names for it, right? But you're throwing away. In Chinese tradition, they call it your chi. In the Indian traditions, they call it your prana. It's your spiritual energy. It's your life force. If you're constantly throwing this away, you're emptying yourself from this energy that is within yourself. This feels valuable. Over time, when you charge this up, your gifts start to come to life. Things start to come to life within yourself. So once you start to really increase this value, naturally abundance and manifesting things become effortless to you. So guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, I still have a few coaching spots available in my coaching program. So if you want to quit the bad habits and move your life forward, feel free to schedule a free call with me to see if we're a good fit and if we can actually help you move forward. So if that is something you want to do, you can do that in the description link down below. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.